If you are not properly calculating out your landed cost per unit at your fashion brand, then you might be leaving a lot of money on the table. Let's talk about it today. Happy Monday. It is time for Money Mondays here yet again at the Business of Apparel. I'm your host, Rachel Erickson, and today we're talking all about landed costs. Because if you aren't calculating out every single penny that every single unit inside your apparel brand is actually costing you, then you are leaving money on the table and you are eroding your margins. This could be why it feels all the time like you can never quite catch up. You're never quite making the money that you feel like you need to make. You are never quite getting there, right? It's a constant struggle. You feel like you're on that struggle bus every single week, every single month. You can't figure out why the profits aren't happening. This could be one of the keys to helping you release that profitability that you've been looking for. So let's talk a little bit about landed costs today. Now, if you are getting a cost from your factory, whether that be a CMT price, now CMT is when your factory just gives you the price to like sew and make your garment for you. Usually in this scenario, it is up to you as the owner to take all of the fabrics that you want to make your garments out of, all of the trims, all of the labels, all of the packaging bits and bobs, and you are sending it to them. You've already paid up front for all of that stuff. You are sending it to them, and then they're giving you a cost to sew the garment, and then they've got some profit and overhead in there. Or they can be sending you a cost that is FOB, and that means freight on board. Now, FOB costing is going to be kind of the opposite of CMT, not the opposite, but it's much more comprehensive, where you tell the factory what factory trims, packaging, labels you want in your garment, but they go out and they acquire those things for you. They actually pay for them up front on your behalf. They have them all shipped to their facility on their own behalf. They make the garments for you. They package it up. They put it in all of the boxes and they get it to the nearest port. So that obviously costs quite a bit more, right? An FOB price should be a lot more than a CMT price would be, because it's including everything that goes into that. Now, there's another kind of pricing that a lot of my clients have actually been getting access to recently, which has been surprising. This used to be really, really rare, at least in my experience, and maybe that's just working with really big brands, but I hadn't heard of a ton of people who got access to DDP pricing. And DDP pricing is basically the whole shebang. So the factory is not only going to acquire all of your goods for you, make your garments, package them, get them to the nearest shipping freight, or the shipping, port. That's what it is. It is actually going to include all of your shipping, all of your tariffs, all of your duty fees, any customs fees to get things across the border. They're going to cover all of that. So that is really, really special pricing that I've been noticing some of my clients getting a hold of. If you are doing some negotiations with a manufacturer right now, it's a really good question to ask at this point. Do you do DDP or full package pricing from delivery to my doorstep, right? If they can do that, that can really save you from having to calculate out a landed cost, which again is what we're going to talk about here in just a second. So the most typical scenario is that you get an FOB price from your manufacturer. If you can get an FOB price from your factory, that is really, really good practice. You're in good shape. I would give you a total thumbs up as your fashion mentor. I would tell you FOB is good. And I have told a lot of my clients that. I tell my board members that all the time. If you're getting FOB pricing, you're in really good shape. If you need to do CMT pricing, you might want to do some negotiation, or it's just going to be a lot more work on your end to try to figure out like, okay, I sent over 2 bolts of fabric, but that made 100 garments. So it means that, divided by 100, those 2 bolts of fabric cost me X per unit. And so there's a lot of math and additional work that you're going to have to do on your end to figure out your unit price if you're accepting CMT pricing. Again, if you can get FOB, great. If you can get DDP, that's like the gold standard. Not everybody does it though. So I still think FOB is very, very good. They'll give you an FOB price. Then you are going to have to add those additional pieces and parts to it so that you get your final landed price. And this is going to be what your garment costs in full. So in addition to your FOB price, which includes all your materials, all your trims, the make and sew of your garment, your factory's overhead and profit, it includes packaging everything up, getting it to the nearest port. Now you have to also pay for shipping to get it from the nearest port to your facility, whether that's your apartment and you're packaging things in your actual apartment, whether that's your 3PL, your warehouse, wherever you are shipping your goods from to your customers, it has to arrive there, right? So we're going to pay shipping on that, whether you have a FedEx account or a UPS account or a DHL account or anything like that. You can reach out to your shipping provider, your logistics provider, and ask them for quotes based on the weight of the boxes that are going to be coming in, the number of the boxes, the size of the boxes that are going to be coming in. And then you can divide that by the number of units that are in those packages, right? So if there's 100 units in a package and someone quotes you $100 for shipping, that's $1 per unit. You've put in the hours, you've mastered the fundamentals, and your brand is no longer a passion project. But somewhere along the way, the hustle that got you here started to feel like a trap. You're building a business, not just making clothes, and you're starting to wonder if you'll ever crack the code to consistent, profitable growth. What if I told you that industry's top brands aren't just working harder, they're working smarter, with a clear blueprint for everything from line planning to streamlining their supply chain? This is the insider knowledge that's typically kept behind closed doors, but now it's accessible to you. Introducing The Board, an annual membership designed to give you that strategic advantage. Led by a team with over 70 years of combined experience, we provide the honest, real talk mentorship you need to move from busy to truly successful. We'll show you how to focus on the small, consistent actions that lead to massive progress, helping you build a legacy without the burnout. It's time to stop second guessing yourself and start building with purpose. Don't pay attention to the chaos. Pay attention to what actually matters. Join the board and unlock the proven systems that will transform your brand. Go to thebusinessofapparel.com to find the option that's right for you. I can't wait to see you in there. Now you can add that to your unit pricing. Now, something that we've done traditionally when we're trying to do our line planning way up front, and I always suggest that you do a budget up front for your brand, because if you don't know your numbers and you don't know how much you can actually afford to design, develop, and make, it is a huge waste of time and resources and more dollars to actually go through all of those processes. And then you can't even proceed to buy that inventory, right? So I really encourage you to do a budget up front. And when we do a budget up front, sometimes we have to estimate shipping costs because we're not 100% sure what that is going to cost down the line. Now, over time, you will become familiar with what your typical shipping costs look like or what a typical shipping cost per unit is for you. So then you can start to inject that information into your line planning worksheet. If you are guessing, something that we've done in the past just to do worst case scenario pricing. And the reason I like to do worst case scenario is because if I build out this cost and it's higher than it's actually going to be when I get my production in, again, this is the worst case it could possibly be. At the end of the day, I'm probably going to end up saving a little bit of money and my finances are going to look even better than I was projecting, right? If you plan out that way, no like really bad surprises come your way or nothing like surprises you on the back end where you're like, oh crap, like I didn't do worst case scenario. I did best case scenario and it ended up being a little bit worse than I thought. So now I'm losing out on more money. And if you didn't have the cash flow on hand to actually cover that worst case scenario, or maybe not the best case scenario, now you're in a little bit of trouble, right? So I like to do worst case costing for that reason. And when you do that with shipping, the worst case that I'm not going to say ever, the worst case that we usually use is half of your FOB price. So if your factory tells you your FOB price is $10 per unit, you can guess that it could be $5 per unit, as much as $5 per unit to actually ship it. Now, again, 9 times out of 10, that is not actually the case. That's quite a lot to ship a unit from anywhere in the world to your facility. $5 per unit is a lot. However, I have seen it before. And at the very, very worst, when we were in COVID and we were starting to see all of those supply chain, logistics, shipping issues, like when we had boats stuck in different straits and we couldn't get things places, and there were so many boats like stuck at ports, they couldn't actually get in, they couldn't deliver any of the goods. We were starting to see shipping costs go 1-to-1 with FOB pricing. And that was really, really rare. That was kind of a one-off instance. But at that time, we were estimating 1-to-1 FOB cost to shipping cost just to make sure, again, that we were hitting that worst case scenario. And in some instances, we actually saw it. So that's why I always kind of encourage that. Okay, now the next thing that you have to add to, now you've got your FOB pricing, now you've got your shipping costs, and you've added those together. The other thing that you need to add is the fees to import your goods from wherever you're importing them from. Now, if you are in the United States and you're manufacturing in the United States, you will not have any fees. There are going to be no additional tariffs. There are going to be no customs fees. There are going to be no duties fees. That's why one of the reasons for localization can be such a big perk, right? There are 0% duty and tariffs to go on top of any other fees that you are paying or any other costs that you are paying for your garments. It is not always feasible for everybody, though, because labor in the United States and access to the few manufacturers that we do have here in the United States costs a pretty penny. So when we typically do costing and we look at, let's source from the United States, let's source from China, let's source from Italy, let's source from India, we tend to find that Italy is usually the most expensive because they have higher cost of living, so they pay their workers very well. They have higher taxes that you actually have to pay on the items. And then on top of that, we now have to pay importing fees, right? So, and then you also have to pay big freight fees because it's coming from the EU. So Italy in that scenario would probably be the most expensive. But when you're looking at the US against India, against China, even though there's really high tariffs for India and China, and even though there are higher shipping fees because it's coming from a far away, and even though there are additional duty rates that have to be applied to the items coming in from China and India, we actually tend to see them very level with each other because it is so expensive to manufacture here in the United States. So I get this question a lot, right? Like, where should I be manufacturing? And that's a really hard question to answer based on the values that you want to have inside your company. If it's really important for your company to locally manufacture your goods, then you should be locally manufacturing your goods. If it is not, and it's just really helpful for you to be sourcing out of China where they can find any kind of trim, any kind of fabric, everything's localized to them, you're actually the only non-local part. That can be a reason to source out of China. There is no wrong answer. And there is no one region in the world that has all the good manufacturers and all the bad manufacturers. Every single region has good and has bad. So it's up to you to reach out to a lot of different locations and start doing the interviews, start asking the questions, start finding the right partner for you. And there's a series of questions that we would encourage you to ask. And part of it can be this costing structure, right? Again, do you offer CMT pricing? Do you offer FOB pricing? Do you offer DDP pricing? What are your customs and duty fees to ship into the United States? What are the tariffs right now to ship into the United States? Do you help with any of that? Are you willing to split any of that with me as the manufacturer of my goods? Now, as a startup brand, they might not be. If you're a little more of an established brand, you've been working with them for a very long time, they might be willing to split some of that stuff with you. What are your typical shipping fees when you ship a box of stuff to the United States? What does it typically cost? Those can be all really great questions to ask your factory while you are interviewing people all over the world. So again, it is 100% up to you, but I cannot tell you that there is any one right place or any one great place to manufacture your goods, because it is going to come down to the specific factory that you have found and the people who you are working with. Okay, so now you've added together your FOB price, you've added shipping on top of it, you've added all the little percentages and the dollars and cents that add up for tariffs, customs fees, and duty rates. Now you have a landed cost. And this is the total cost per unit. And if we're really getting into the nitty gritty, you might want to start to consider what it actually costs to develop and design that garment. And do you want to then kind of add that to your costing? Do you want to add to the costing what it actually costs to market and advertise that piece? That is not traditional. We do not do that at the big brands. We don't add marketing. We don't add a sales team. We don't add the team's salary. That kind of goes under like operational budget stuff. We don't add that to our unit cost. Otherwise, our unit costs would be exorbitantly high. But you should know that that does all go into it. And those items do erode your bottom line profitability if you are spending too much money in those areas. So again, I wouldn't recommend that you add that to the unit cost so that you're not calculating out your profitability margins based on, team salary or marketing budgets or anything like that. But if that's your philosophy and that's what you choose to do, that is something else that you could potentially look at to really understand the cost of making any one garment in your line. I hope this episode was helpful to you. I hope you just figured out just a little bit about how to calculate your landed cost and why it is so important. If you have any questions on it, you can leave comments below here on YouTube. Thanks so much for being here with me this week. See you next week.